Ayuso won again, 2 stage wins. Pretty impressive, I have to say. And as you said already, 5 stage wins already for UAE out of 12 stages. So, we can criticize all we want, but 5 stage wins in the Vuelta. They're in second place. They're most likely going to be on the podium without any bad luck.
Everybody, welcome back to the Move Plus. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel. We are breaking down stage 12 of the Vuelta a España. And once we do that, we will predict tomorrow's stage 13, critical stage 13, one of the most important stages of the race in terms of GC. But stage 12 was won by Juan Ayuso, getting his second stage win of this Vuelta a España, getting his UAE team's fifth out of 11 stages. I know it's stage 12, but we didn't have a stage winner yesterday. That's pretty good. Nearly a 50% strike rate on stages. Javier Romo from Movistar second. Movistar still looking for that elusive victory. And a Groupama FDJ rider I don't think I'd ever heard of, Johan, not to sound like a casual, but Brieuc Roland was third, chasing very close behind. The day, it was as we expected, and you even got the stage winner right. I think your pick yesterday was Juan Ayuso, so congrats to you.
Correct.
But
yeah.
It was a very kind of strangely, it was like a stage with 2 climbs, one on one end, one on the other. The breakaway went on the first climb about 40 kilometers into the race. Huge move. 50 plus riders got away. As soon as that happened, Visma gets to the front, just starts pacing on the front of the peloton. All the GC riders know that tomorrow's the day they want to conserve energy. Up in the breakaway, of course, if there's a break that big, there's going to be attacks. Mads Pedersen kind of kept it together and kept to the front until they got to the sprint point so he could get those 20 points max, and the key to extend his lead because Jonas Vingegaard's probably going to make a run here later in the race. And then they get to the second climb, the final climb, and Juan Ayuso is launched by Marc Soler, his teammate. Looks like a devastating attack that no one can respond to. Impressively, Romo reels him in, goes with them over the top of the climb, and Ayuso was maybe sitting on too much for Romo's liking, but Romo was willing to do the work, so it paid off for Ayuso. And then Ayuso impressively smokes him in the sprint, wins the stage. But there was tension with a rider chasing just 13 seconds back. There was a Pedersen group 17 seconds back. It was not, a foregone conclusion, but those guys were clearly the best of the group. Johan, we saw we saw protesters on the side, no protests on the road. So that was a bit of the big win of the day. But what is your takeaway from the stage?
Yeah, well, takeaway is that a huge group went away, 50 plus riders, first 38. And then I kind of didn't watch for 10 minutes and all of a sudden there were 50 something.
Basically I had the same experience.
Almost half of the peloton. So, impressive Movistar, 5 riders in the first group already. In the 38 riders, they had 5 riders there. So it was clear that they were keen to win the stage. But with Ayuso and Soler there, I think it was clear that these guys were the favorite. And no matter what we say about UAE and Ayuso, Ayuso won again, 2 stage wins. Pretty impressive, I have to say. And as you said already, 5 stage wins already for UAE out of 12 stages. So, we can criticize all we want, but 5 stage wins in the Vuelta. They're in second place. They're most likely going to be on the podium without any bad luck. We can ask questions, right? We can say, well, why do they let these guys go in the break? If Almeida needs help. I mean, today, for example, I think Almeida was very well surrounded. Not at any moment was he alone compared to Jonas and his Visma teammates. The only question you can have is, well, how much energy do these guys spend the day before Angliru? But again, I think Angliru is also a climb where teammates don't really make that big of a difference. It's super steep, the last part. And I think Almeida is a rider that if he needs a teammate, he's still going to be always better to ride his own pace. And that pace Almeida's pace is going to be too fast for any of his teammates anyway. So I think we can be critical about the tactics of UAE, but I'm not. I don't hate it. 5 stage wins already. The team atmosphere must be quite good, even with the drama we had of Juan Ayuso and him leaving and the press release and him not being happy about it. One thing that was coming to my attention and quite telling was Juan Ayuso's comments, his own comments on his Twitter feed. So he says, second stage win. Thank you very much to all the fans for an unbelievable day. And thanks a lot to Marc Soler. Not thanking his team at all, just Marc Soler.
That's
bad. That's a bit weird because, if Ayuso was there, it's obviously because he got the green card from his team to go in the break. The team could easily have said, Ayuso, listen, you just stay with Almeida, and this is your job now for the rest of the Vuelta. And he would have had to accept it. Obviously, that's not the case. They let him the freedom. You can ask the question, right? Why do they do this? Why do they allow these guys to go in breakaways? Personally, I think, Spencer, don't know what you think, but I think that if they are being realistic, and everything goes to plan with Visma and Jonas, I think that they know that it's going to be extremely difficult to win this Vuelta, and they know that if Almeida stays on this level, he's going to be podium, and at the same time, they have opportunities to win stages. It's not a bad strategy.
Yeah, as it was happening, I was thinking, this is ridiculous. Like Marc Soler was in the move yesterday, he's in the move today. Almeida needs someone to position him tomorrow. Maybe Marc Soler would be a good guy to do that. You got to get to the bottom of the climb in good position. It's really important. Is if they get second overall with 7 stage wins, is that a success? Probably, right? That's pretty good. So that would be the flip side. But the thing I kind of came to terms with the Soler being up there launching Ayuso. Like,
plus,
maybe that
Spencer,
is.
sorry to interrupt. Let's not forget what we talked about 2 days ago, that they have this goal to win most races.
True. Yeah.
Ever. Today's another one. Another one that's added to the, it's 78 now.
I was thinking about that. But the thing that really doesn't sit right with me, Johan, is who was one of the last riders to finish yesterday? It's Juan Ayuso.
Was it Ayuso?
And then it's like he's clearly physically fine, and he clearly has no intent to work for the team. And yes, you get some stage wins. That's nice. But I don't know. Does that sit right with you? It's just, so you're chasing GC and then you have a guy completely on his own program.
Yeah. I can only think that he got the green light today to go in the break. Let's wait until tomorrow. What if Ayuso tomorrow? Not that I'm not having high hopes for this, but what if Ayuso does the first part of the Angliru with Almeida on the wheel, and then Almeida attacks? I still think it's not going to make a big difference between the big favorites, between Almeida and Vingegaard and Pidcock and Felix Gall and others. But what if he does that? I could see the staff. The staff was pretty happy. We have to say lots of the staff is Spanish, so the guy who's at the finish line and was super happy for Ayuso and is Spanish and has been with UAE and with the teams of Machin for a very long time. So, listen, winning erases a lot of conflicts and a lot of stress.
And so we say teammates don't matter on this climb, but Primož Roglič won the 2020 Vuelta España because he got dropped on the final climb tomorrow, and he had a teammate, Sepp Kuss, to pace him to the line. Like the drafting is not massive, but it's there. Like sometimes it is easier to.
It's important in the first part of the stage of the climb, and then the last 1.5 kilometer.
Yeah, and so maybe Ayuso does an amazing job tomorrow, and that would be fantastic. But why? I still can't get my head around why did they bring him? Was it 4 stage wins? Because he said that he was never going to be in the GC.
Yeah, he said that from the get go.
Yeah.
Obviously, listen, if you can go to the Vuelta and you can win 2 stages, any rider would take that, except if you're the favorite to win. It's not that easy, you know. I've ridden the Vuelta many times, and I've only won once, one stage. So winning 2 stages in one Vuelta is obviously quite the accomplishment. But I don't know, to answer your question, Spencer, why they brought them, I don't know. Was it part of the agreement to let him go? We don't know. I think there's obviously other riders on UAE who could be a great teammate, and if we're thinking about Brandon McNulty, Rafael Maika, what about him? He could have been well,
I've heard people say that, but isn't he retiring and he wanted to do Tour of Poland?
Yeah. He's retiring. So he wanted to do Poland, but But there's people in the Vuelta that were in Poland, you know.
True. He might be. I don't want to speak for the guy, but he might be in a beer garden enjoying his impending retirement.
I think UAE can't ask to squeeze out the last bit of energy out of Rafael Maika after everything he has done, and what he means for the team.
Yeah, but they have a lot of strong riders in that team. I mean, maybe two stage wins of the Vuelta, like, is that moving the needle for UAE? Like, clearly it is. Clearly it's enough for them to bring him. And maybe he's amazing tomorrow, and we say, oh, that's why they brought him. They're geniuses. Mm-hmm. We're fools. So I don't want to dig into this too much, because there's still cards left to play. Maybe he's happy now. I mean, you were saying in the Spanish media, it doesn't seem like he's ecstatic you'd think he would be happy because he wanted to leave. The team's a dictatorship. Now he gets to leave. He still doesn't seem that happy, and he's still criticizing the team.
Yeah.
And you said he's getting some criticism in Spain.
Well, I mean, he's not. I mean, today he didn't criticize the team, but he didn't thank anybody else than Marc Soler. That's not cool. And then I saw a quote for example, from Pedro Delgado, who's a very ex-Tour de France winner, ex-Vuelta winner, I think twice. He's a star in Spain, and he's also a commentator on Spanish national TV. And he was quite critical about Ayuso's comments after the press release, and saying, hey, you know what? I mean, listen, you want to leave. You have a multi-year commitment. You want to leave. The team allows you to leave. What else do you want? Just be grateful that they let you leave and go to another team and look, for your own personal interest, and then don't criticize the team because of the wording or the timing of the press release.
Yeah.
I personally think Delgado has a point, I'm not criticizing the fact that Ayuso wants to leave. I mean, he only knows why he wants to leave and why he wants something different. But I think his criticism of the team was, it was a bit out of control, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's bad for cycling that he's at UAE. Like, I want Ayuso, Almeida, Del Toro all racing against Tadej Pogačar at the Tour. I do not. I just think it's terrible that they're all on the same team. So, like, Ayuso is working toward my goal of getting the best riders racing against the best riders. So he was doing that.
He was not going to race for Pogačar at the Tour because he was never going to be on the Tour team as long as Pogačar was racing for the Tour.
Yeah, which is kind of a shame, because then you have this talented rider who's just like warehoused and he's never going to go.
Yeah.
But second place, Javier Romo, 20. I get him confused with Ivan Romeo.
Obviously, yeah.
But Javier Romo is older. He is 26 years old. You'd think, oh, he's a grizzled veteran. No, he's not, because he just started racing bikes, and he was on a club team in 2020. And then he went straight from a club team to World Tour with Astana in 2021.
Yeah.
Very good rider. Won a stage at Tour Down Under this year. I had to go back. I remember us talking about him last year at the Tour. He was in the winning move in Troyes on stage 9, the gravel stage, got 7th. That's a very hard stage, like not only just physically, but technically. So for a guy, he was a triathlete, is that right? And then he came over to cycling?
In 2020, Spencer, the COVID year, there were no events in Europe and definitely not in Spain, definitely not any triathlons. And so, as you know, if I'm not mistaken, he joined a club team, Café Baquet, which is one of the best under 23 teams also. It's like one of the feeder teams for, I mean, it's a Basque team. It's been around forever. It's a historic team in Spain. And I think in the past, I know at least they had a connection with Movistar, Banesto, Kes de Parn. I don't know if that's still the case, but anyway, he was on that team and he did a couple of races. I think he started, one of his first races was the Spanish Championships. He did the time trial, under 23, so finished 7th there, and then he won the Spanish national road race without hardly have ever raced on the road. So he came straight from triathlon and was national champion, and then turned straight away professional with Astana, which was a bit of a surprise. When you would have thought Movistar would have picked him up, but I don't know what happened there. But he's been 3 years or 4 years on Astana, and now since last year on Movistar. But definitely a rider with a big engine. And today, I think he was impressive. Ayuso went really hard for it, and Romo was the only guy who could catch him on the climb, on the last climb. And actually, I think the last 2 kilometers of the last climb, he was definitely equal, if not a bit stronger than Ayuso. There was no way Ayuso could have dropped him anymore. And Ayuso felt that also. That's why, he basically gambled everything on his sprint. But yeah, impressive performance. The whole Movistar team was really good today, and Javier Romo was super, super strong. Big performance to be with Ayuso and coming in second.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see him and Movistar miss out on a win. I'm not quite sure what he could have done. It's just when you have a guy like Ayuso up in the breakaway, it's like, good luck. I don't know what to tell you there about how to beat him, especially when there's people chasing behind you. Like if they get caught by the Pedersen group, it's all done. Right? Yeah. You're not even going to get second. Yeah. So he was pretty generous with the polling. He was yelling at Ayuso, but it's funny. Ayuso at the end of the stage, I thought I was in public watching the race, and I'm pretty sure he said, I don't like to race like that, but the team made me. It's like, wait, come on.
You mean like sitting on or doing less work than the other one?
It's like,
that's how you win bike races, man. I mean, listen, Ayuso was, if the instructions from the team are obviously, okay, take a pull, but don't drive the brake. They need it more than we do, which is true. You take advantage of the weaknesses of your opponents. I mean, Movistar desperately needs a win. Romo needs a win. Ayuso has won already many times. He won a stage. So yeah, it's normal. I think it's normal you take advantage of that situation and try to play it to your advantage.
When's the last time Movistar won a Vuelta stage?
I don't know, man.
It might have been. It might have been.
Probably Miguel Angel Lopez on one of those big climbs.
Yeah. 2021, that was the same year where he was like sitting top 5 or something on stage 20, and he just got off his bike and went home. I still can't believe that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Commitment to being disgruntled. So I do respect that. Anything else on the stage before we move on?
Yeah, other than that, easy day for the GC guys. Visma was completely in control. They had Victor Kampenaerts up the road. I don't know why, but he was there. And basically it was Van Baarle and who was the other guy? Kelderman, maybe? Or Van Baarle, Kelderman, and Ben Tulet, who were always there. And then Jorgensen setting the tempo on the climb with Tulet again. So, yeah, no problems for them. It was kind of to be expected, that there was not going to be any movements in GC, because it was clear that there was going to be a big breakaway up the road. So everybody's saving their legs for tomorrow.
Yeah. I think that was obvious. One thing before we move on, Juan Ayuso, he's listed at 65 kilos. I was surprised because Javier Romo is he's like a muscular, he looks like a triathlete kind of. Juan Ayuso is like a big, broad shoulders. Like, is he really 60? He's also tall, like much taller than I thought he was. Like,
how tall is he?
He's listed at 1.83 meters.
183. Okay, 65 kilos. Yeah, I think it's possible. It is light. 65 kilos.
It's like Pogacar weight.
Yeah, it is super light. He looks, I don't know.
I was just looking at him thinking, man, that is an athletic. It's been a minute since we've seen someone with that athletic of build winning a Grand Tour.
But then if you look at, for example, let's see, what's Matteo Jorgensen? Jorgensen is, let's see, he's super tall.
He's super tall. He's probably as light as he can be, but that's another kind of thing I not worry about. I think Jorgensen has had a great career. He could retire tomorrow.
Jorgensen is 190 and he weighs 69 kilos.
Yeah. I think that
it's tall.
Makes it tough for him to win Grand Tours against these guys like Jonas and Pogacar. And think like Jonas, Pogacar, Remco, like that. None of these guys are very big.
But man, let me tell you, man, 190 and 69 kilos, that you're skinny. That's skinny. That's, yeah.
Do you remember when he called into the move and he was eating fake ice cream or something? Yeah. Like, I think his whole life is like focusing on being as skinny as he possibly can. It's tough in modern cycling, I think, to win Grand Tours when you're built like a normal athlete. It's hard. You're racing against tiny people. But moving on, let's take a quick ad break, Johan, and we'll talk about stage 13, a very important GC stage. Okay, Johan, we're back. 202 kilometer stage tomorrow. I cannot pronounce this climb. La Angliru, I guess, would be the best.
Alto de L'Angliru.
And it is the third climb of the day, but the first two are clustered right before it. It's at Cat 1, about 40 kilometers from the finish. It's the descent sprint point, and then another Cat 1, 5.5K at 8.8%.
And let me tell you, those two climbs, Spencer, are already very hard. Like I remember some of the guys, for example, Alto del Cordal is already very, like the last 2 kilometers of Alto del Cordal. You obviously have special, back in the days, now they have such a big range of gears, but you had special gears back in the days for the Angliru, especially for the stage. But I remember some guys saying, the smallest gear I had, I was already using it on Alto del Cordal, which is super bad for the morale if you know that you have to go up the Angliru afterwards,
It's like 12% average for the last 2K on that climb. That is depressing when you're already tapped out on your gears and you're not even to the hardest climb. But they look small on the profile because the second to last climb, as you said, 5.5 kilometers, almost 9% average. The final climb, 13K long, basically 10% average gradient for that 13K, but that's deceptively low because the last, let's say 2/3 of it, it's almost all over 12%.
Oh yeah.
With kilometers at basically 17% average. And then you have this awkward dip. It's almost descends to the finish at the very top. Last time we came here, Primož Roglič won. It's almost always one from the GC group. The only one we could find that wasn't that way was 2013. Kenny Elissonde won, and then that's where Chris Froome dropped Vincenzo Nibali and won the overall. I'll list the favorites, and then we'll talk about who's going to win. And you've been a part as a manager of a few key moments of this race as well, this stage as well. But the favorite
just to speak before we talk about the favorite, Spencer. So it's such a special climb. As I said, nowadays, the gear range is just, it's not a problem anymore. You can ride 34, 34, or even 34, 36, I would think. You can ride 34, 36 because that's what I have on my Ventum NS1. I have 34 in the front and 36 in the back. It's, and I don't know. I don't know if I would get up Angliru with this, but back in the days, I remember the first time the peloton went up Angliru was 1999. I was there with Postal, my first year as a DS. Was it 99 or 2000? Probably 99. And I think the first winner was Jose Maria Jimenez El Chava, one of the great climbers of Spain. Sadly, he's not amongst us anymore. And I remember back then, obviously the equipment was completely different, and it was a big mess because the mechanics had to change the bikes. We were, to get up the Angliru, you had to have a triple chainring. There was not there, so we had to change. We were Shimano back then, triple chainring. The mechanics had to change all the bottom brackets because you needed a longer bottom bracket axle for 3 chainrings, and so that was quite something back then. Also because back in the days we didn't have an overflow in staff. We had maybe 3 mechanics for the whole team, that was something. And then in 2002. I remember we won with Postal with Roberto Heras, won there. And I do remember back then, triple chainring still. And Roberto was riding, 3 chainrings in the front, 53, 39, 30. And then in the back, he was riding 11, 25. So his smallest gear was 30, 25. And it was raining. And I remember that with a 30, 25, he had to stay seated because and the wheel was skipping. Because if you would stand up,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So
I don't think
but times have changed since. It's 23 years later in the meantime, and the gearing is not an issue anymore.
I don't think any of those were televised in the U.S., but it was like the heyday of cycling magazines. So I just remember sitting in school reading like Pro Cycling magazine, and they would like talk about this, like, oh wow, they're riding triples, and then. I think climbs like this pushed our what we have now. Like we're kind of born out of these climbs because these riders were like, these gears are not big enough. And it pushed the manufacturers to make better gearing that we're enjoying today. So it is like an interesting bit of, it's a new climb. Think 99 was the first time it ever went up. And then it's kind of been,
it's featured like quite a few times, like 7 or 8 times, I guess.
The only, Haras, in 2002, your rider won by like a minute and a half, but does not normally generate massive gaps. Is the only like slight misunderstanding.
It's kind of what you tend to see, on those super steep climbs. Everybody you can only go your own pace. It's not like usually climbs of like between 7 and 9%. Tend to produce bigger gaps.
Yeah,
because
the speeds are so high.
The speed is a lot higher. On this climb, you either go whatever, 10 per hour or 9.2 kilometers per hour. It's on the steep parts. But you don't tend to see big gaps.
Yeah, I haven't done the math on this, but I think. Like, let's say someone's going 8 miles an hour and the person behind them is going 7. I think the time would be different than if someone's going like 17 miles an hour and the person behind them is going 16 miles an hour on a climb. But I don't know, mathematician, let me know if that's right or not. The favorite is, this is crazy. Stage favorite, Jonas Vingegaard, -1. He's 190 on FanDuel in the US. You said he's 167 on Unibet, which I'm having trouble looking at.
Negative 167.
Yeah, negative 167. So you'd have to bet $167 to win $100 of profit. Joao Almeida, that might not be a bad bet. Joao Almeida plus 700. That's the second favorite. Tom Pidcock plus 1,100. Jay Vine plus 1,800. Felix Gall plus 2,700. Juan Ayuso plus 3,000. That would be epic if you won that. Jai Hindley plus 3,500. David Gaudu, I don't even know why it's this high, plus 5,500. It goes on and on. We'll come out when we need to. If you do want to bet, go to nxtbets.com/bet-outcomes. They'll walk you through how to do it and where to get the best price and sign-up bonuses wherever you live. Johan, how do you think this is going to play out, GC or breakaway, and who's going to win?
I'm almost certain it's going to be GC, Spencer, especially with the strength of Visma, knowing that Jonas, he wanted to win the other day, didn't turn out, the case because of the end of the stage. But I think tomorrow Visma's keeping this under control, tight, and any break that is under 3 minutes, I would say, at the bottom of Angliru doesn't make it. So I'm going to go Jonas. This is the climb, basically. Angliru is also the climb where for the first time we saw Jonas in a big race do a super performance. I remember seeing him in 2020 on Visma when nobody really knew Jonas Vingegaard, doing an impressive pull for Primož Roglič, who won the Vuelta then. I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was Hugh Carty who won the stage, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But Jonas did a really impressive pull there and kind of put his name on the map. From then on, we kind of knew that this guy was going to be somebody that had huge potential. So even at minus 167, I'm going to pick Jonas to win the stage.
It's not a bad pick, even at that price. The thing about the breakaway, it looks like a single climb stage when you glance at it, but these two climbs before, like at 8.5% and 9%, a break could lose minutes. They could have 7 minutes going into that first climb, and it's down to 3 at the bottom of the final climb. And as you said, 3 minutes is going to evaporate. I think GC as well. I think Jonas is a fine pick, but there's a very good chance too Jonas just ends the Vuelta tomorrow. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say I saw blood in the water in the Basque Country the other day when Tom Pidcock dropped him. I'm going to go Joao Almeida plus 700. I've already put the bet in. I've got Almeida winning tomorrow, and maybe not winning the Vuelta tomorrow, but starting to worry Jonas Vingegaard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so steep that Almeida, he's like, he's such a steady state climber. I think it could help him quite a bit.
Yeah. Honestly, I think, Spencer, if we're starting from a point that's going to be GC, I don't think there's anybody who can win except Jonas, Almeida, or Pidcock. So it's difficult to choose someone else. A breakaway. Who could make it from a breakaway? Jay Vine could stay away. I think he's kind of the only one of the whole.
What about? I think Jay Vine is a good pick there. What about Matthew Riccatello? I don't know. As I say that could be wish casting there.
No,
especially since he's in the GC. But yeah, Jay Vine.
Not against those guys. I wonder now how, for example, Carty won, but finally he finished third in that Vuelta, I think. Was it not Roglic and Carapaz and Carty, the top three?
I think it was not big gaps at all. I think Carty was very close in the GC.
Yeah. So, what if nobody can drop each other, and for example, a guy like Felix Gall does a Carty?
Yeah. That's
a possibility also. Who else could win? Jay Hindley. I don't think so, man. I don't even think Felix Gall. He's not going to be with Jonas and with Pidcock and with Almeida. I don't think so. So, just to cover the possibility of a breakaway, I'm going to take Jay Vine as a wild card, plus 1,400.
The case for Vine would be he's one of probably the only rider in this race not in the GC. Well, I guess that's maybe not true. Maybe one of two riders in the race not in the GC that can climb. He climbs roughly the same speed. Like the other day, he was almost the same speed as the GC riders on that climb where he won. That's very unusual for a breakaway rider. I'm going to go my wildcard Pidcock plus 1,100 on FanDuel because Very simple reason, because he's very light. He's the lightest of the GC contenders, and he's very strong. So on steep climb, light man, go fast is my thesis there.
Yeah, I think Pidcock is discovering himself day by day, He's growing day by day. His confidence is through the roof. And tomorrow it's a new undiscovered terrain for him also, steep climb of that distance. But if there's anybody who can give Jonas a run for his money, except Almeida, it's going to be Pidcock. It's for the moment the only one also of the whole Vuelta peloton who put the hurt on Jonas. Only a little bit for a short period of time, but it could be a continuation tomorrow of what we've seen. And it would be amazing for the race, man. I mean, if Pidcock drops Jonas tomorrow, that keeps the race wide open, Even if he stays with him and beats him in the sprint, that's another possibility. He doesn't really need to drop him.
Yeah. That is the case for Pidcock. He does not need to drop either of those guys to beat them. And they probably lose if they go to the line with them.
Yeah.
And it, like, people ask us how to weight these bets. Tomorrow would be a day where put your favorite. If Vingegaard's your favorite, if Almeida's your favorite, I don't know, 100 units on them, put like 5 units on your wild card, because this is most likely going to be between those two guys.
Yeah.
Anything else, Johan, before we take off?
No, not really. I mean, it's going to be an exciting, long stage, 202 kilometers.
I know. I was surprised by that.
That's that plays a bit into the hand of a breakaway, right? I mean, it's not a super short stage, so there is a lot of terrain to cover before we hit those 3 climbs. So a breakaway could have already a decent amount of advantage.
But the terrain for the first 150K is not conducive to a good climber getting into the breakaway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that, if you have
also important fact, it's going to be good weather tomorrow, which is very important in that part of Spain. It's known for rain and, lots of dangerous descents. So that's not going to be a factor tomorrow.
I don't know if I've ever seen good weather on this climb. So,
well, it's going to be good weather tomorrow.
Nice. Well, I'm excited, and we will be back here to break it down after the finish.
Okay, Spencer. Speak soon.
All right. Bye.